The Park at Midnight. A short, scary story. A short, scary story. Written by Stories from the Attic. Narrated by Robin Mcconnell. Honestly, until the thing with Stephen Mellor, I'd never understood how people managed to be scared of ghosts. Monsters I could understand, serial killers even more so. Monsters like werewolves and vampires had huge tearing teeth and ripping claws, whilst serial killers, even fictional ones, thrust with their horribly pointed kitchen knives or smacked their lips at the thought of devouring you. I could even understand people feeling creeped out by aliens and the kind of mutant creatures and robots you see in sci-fi. To me, being scared of all that stuff made sense. But ghosts? Perhaps it was the tangibility of the others, the idea that monsters and aliens, if real, could actually do you harm in the physical world, that they were in some way more solid and physically threatening in a literal, touchable way. I could understand being scared of that, but bedsheets going woo like a boiling kettle, or ghoulies and dead people creeping around in churchyards on tiptoe, just didn't cut the mustard. When I heard reports of plates and furniture flying around, I assumed it was a domestic, not a poltergeist. Christ knows my wife has thrown some crockery in her time. When something went bump in the night, I assumed it was either a burglar or some local pisshead too drunk to get his key in the door. Now, I'm not saying I'm impervious. I'm happy to admit that if I were ever to come face to face with someone I knew to be dead, up and walking about, it would likely give me a bit of a start. I would be scared because it was happening to me. Things are always different in person. What I could never get my head around was how people got scared of ghosts on the page, or in films, the same way they did other stuff. Even when I heard the spooky stories the other fellas told, and trust me, every copper has a few, I was just never moved. Until it came to Stephen. In some ways, I suppose the job might have numbed me. As a police officer for over 30 years, I had seen my fair share of horrible things. The ugly side of humanity was laid bare for me daily. I had also, I'm sorry to say, seen my fair share of dead bodies. All of them stiff, inanimate, and although sobering in a remember your fate kind of way, no more terrifying than the kitchen table or any other hard, unmoving thing. Whatever it was, the thing with Stephen cut through that numbness like a red-hot poker. Now I am scared of ghosts. Not only because I know they're real, but, more importantly, because I know what they can do. I had known of Stephen for almost a decade. Though we worked on the same force and had a nodding acquaintance, we had never actually been in the same department or even on similar shifts until about a year before it happened. When we finally did end up working together, me as a sergeant, him as a detective constable working under my supervision, I found him to be an amiable and straight-talking kind of bloke. He was also a bloody good copper. Or so I thought. So it was with some surprise that I met the question he posed to me one October morning about securing a restraining order. He had asked to see me the day before, but my schedule had been full, so I'd penciled him in for the following morning. When he arrived at the office, his usual awkwardly pleasant grin was missing, and there was something in the way his eyes never stayed still that made me nervous. There was something in the furtive, restless glances as if searching the shadows of the room, expecting at every moment someone or something to jump out at him, that was deeply unsettling. Not at this point because I was afraid for myself, but because I was naturally concerned for one of my officers. I had seen changes like this in people before. Officers who usually came in whistling a happy tune grown suddenly morose, often due to the demands of the job. The things we see, whilst they don't always impact us immediately, take their toll. My own captain explained it to me years ago as being like snow. A single snowflake falling on a branch is almost imperceptible.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?